I have started to think about this institution and to work in the direction of the institution together with Hans-Bernhard Weissert and others already a very long time ago. And there was still the discussion going on about the European security and defense strategy. And at the time it became very clear that an instrument of information, an instrument of debate would be absolutely necessary. And I congratulate Hans-Bernhard Weissert to the work he has done in this direction, to the success he has had. But I also wish that this goes on. And I think there's still very much to do for the future of the Security and Defense College of the European Union. The Lisbon Treaty is in place, and now that we can hope that by the end of this year the foreign policy instrument will also be in place, now I think work really can begin. And it is all about, if you ask me, it is all about better spending in security and defense. Because if you add the defense budgets of the 27 member states, you will see that 200 billion a year are spent on security and defense in the European Union. And if you apply the present exchange rate of the euro, which is relatively strong, it is almost half of what the Americans spend. Of course, we should spend more, but more than 200 billion a year is already quite a lot of money. And I think we should reflect how they can be spent in a more effective way. Yesterday, I did get a very good information about the Air Transport Command, which is now instituted in Eindhoven, pooling of capabilities. So that is certainly one of the possibilities to spend more effectively. More cooperation in questions of space is another one. More cooperation in technical standards, for example, like software-defined radio and other projects. These are possibilities of more cooperation between the member states in security and defense. And I think that is the way, in the direction in which we should go. But I think we also need a discussion about the values of the European Union, because the defense policy is about defending certain values, and we have to discuss about these values of the European Union. Are all our values, are they universal values? Are there any values which are specific values of the European Union? I think that is question number one. The second question is about the interests of the European Union. We often speak about the interests of the member states, but I think we also have to discuss about the interests of the European Union and its citizens. And in most of the cases, we will find that, as a matter of fact, if you look at it closely, the interests and the security interests of the European Union are the same as the security interests of most of the member states. If you go through the list of the threats which has been elaborated in connection with the European security and defense policy, it is clear that these values, these interests are very often the same. And I think we need a public debate about it. Very often, if I talk about European security and defense policy and the operations which are going on, the civilian operations, the military operations, I see that people really do not know very much about it. And I think we need a public debate. Security and defense is one of the most important things in politics and in life. It's about decisions about life and death which are taken. And therefore, I think you also need a public debate about all these questions. And I think this is something we have to initiate in the next year and in the next years. And I think we also need a sort of a document. Some time ago, we said in the European Parliament, we need a white book on security and defense. A defense college can play a very important role in this connection. So thank you very much for the honor, and best of luck for the future of the Defense College.